The question in the book is, why don't people trust experts anymore? But the way I actually talk about it in the book is, why have people become convinced that they know as much as experts and feel free to argue with them as if they themselves are experts? And the conclusion I come to is that this is a problem both of affluence in a well-off society and of a certain amount of narcissism that has been growing in American culture since, I would say, since the 1960s. I think we've gone past what would have been a positive, which is the growth of the informed consumer and the more engaged voter, and we've blown right past that into the era of the consumer who lectures, or the patient or the client who lectures to the doctor or the lawyer or the teacher or the journalist or an expert in any other field. I think it's a problem of people really not wanting to accept that anybody in any one field is really smarter than they are, and that they should listen to that person, because we've become a very resentful and very angry society that really doesn't want to listen to anybody, certainly not to people we think are better educated or have more experience than we do. Sometimes I find it almost childlike that in these arguments between lay people and experts, that there's almost this underlying tone of, you're not the boss of me, that I shouldn't have to listen to you. And I think people forget that experts view their clients as society. We, teachers, professors, engineers, doctors, lawyers, our clients are not just individuals. Our clients are the society at large. That's part of our professional code. And we're not trying to run people's lives, we're trying to help people live their lives better. But again, people rebel against that because often, in order to do that, we have to tell people things they don't want to hear. And America has become a country that is not tolerant of hearing things it doesn't want to hear. All day long, people rely on experts and don't even think about it. Every time you take an over-the-counter medication, if you go to your local pharmacy and talk to your pharmacist about a decongestant, you're relying on a whole web of expert beliefs and expert work. Every time you get on an airplane, you're assuming that everybody involved in that, you're putting your life in the hands of people you assume, from the ground crew to the control tower, even the flight attendants who are trained to handle emergencies, that all these people are experts in their jobs, that they know what they're doing. If you hire a photographer for an event, you assume that that photographer knows which lens to use and which camera and which film. This is something that is a normal part of living every day, and yet when experts step forward and say, here are some unpleasant things you have to think about, people say, well, I don't have to listen to you. Well, and yet you do all day long. And it's kind of an irony there, because it's in an advanced, technologically advanced country like ours, you rely on experts every day, and not just scientific experts. You rely on educational experts, diplomatic experts, policy experts, in every way. It's just not it's very transparent to the average person. Let's acknowledge something very important. Experts can be wrong in their own field. Experts can make bad calls. We are human beings. We make mistakes. We're not always right. We're just more likely to be right than a person who isn't an expert. But we're also not experts in everything. The electrician who rewired my house, as far as I'm concerned, what electricians do is indistinguishable from magic. I'll talk to you all day long about nuclear weapons, the most dangerous thing in the world, but I won't touch an outlet in my house because I'm terrified of it, because I have no expert knowledge in this field. And I think there was once a time in America where it was okay to admit that, to say that I know about one thing, but I don't know about other things. Americans now have really become a group of people who who can't endure to say that there's something they don't know about. And I think that's a really unfortunate and a really dangerous thing for an advanced country like ours.